because why not? All right, we're back. Kind of. I don't know what happened there. Clearly,
you got excited. You pressed the button. These things happen.
Yeah. Internet, how does it work?
There it is.
There it is indeed.
Took a second to show up in my tweets.
In my tweets.
Took a
Tweety.
Twitters.
All right.
CJ,
CJ, I think I speak for everybody on the show when I say get your shit together.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, let's face it. It's the Grisham effect. I'm clearly bringing everything down.
Well, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna stop recording. We're gonna start again.
What?
That's
Oh,
right.
God.
That's right. We're doing it. We're doing it.
All right. I just hit stop.
So, stopping recording.
So we should export before we do anything
File,
else, right?
save as, PR,
Export audio. Everybody's talking at the same time.
What is going on?
Happening?
Oh my God. Is it 532? Is that this episode?
535.
535.
Why did I think 532?
What is going on?
You know what? If everybody hadn't been talking over me the whole time, I'd know what was happening. Oh my God.
Boom, 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 ba-dum, boom, 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 ba-dum.
Okay.
I'm down for the Streets of Rage.
All right.
There you go.
We're gonna start recording.
Yes.
Hold on.
Come on. Get a faster computer.
Phil's running a 386 over there. You gotta.
486.66. Thank you very much. There. Now.
Is it an MSX?
No.
Are you recording?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm recording too.
All right, I'm now recording as well.
Let's do another clap.
Oh God, my hands are getting tired.
All right. 3, 2, 1. We did it.
Yes.
Hello and welcome to episode 535 of the Player One podcast for Monday, February 6th, 2017. I'm your host, Phil Theobald. With me, as always, from the great state of football and Coca-Cola, Chris
And
Johnston.
Well, thank you, Phil. It's great to be here on this, the day of the big game, Super Bowl Sunday.
That's right.
Wow.
And from the great state of up north, Canada, Greg Stewart.
What are we doing?
We got to start over.
Yeah, that's how we're doing it. Now,
It's almost
In
11
case you
o'clock.
forgot.
It's-
you're listening to the Player One podcast. That's how we do it.
Hey.
CJ's on the net zero. Yeah,
That's how we do
that's
it.
what it is.
Apparently. Who knew? Who knew?
You get what you pay for.
That's true. Okay. We talked about Nintendo spending a bunch on marketing.
Mm-hmm.
Let's move along to
What we've been playing?
no, we're not done.
Oh, boy.
So in Nintendo announced their financials. They had a whole lot of that whole thing going on last week. So President Kimishima was interviewed by various news sources, including an interview with the Nikkei, where he said the Switch has the potential to sell as well as the Wii.
Of course it does.
Yeah, that's crazy.
The original Wii.
Absolutely.
Everything has the potential to sell well.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
Look up the definition of potential. Everything has the potential to sell well.
If you
Okay.
believe in yourself, the Wii
Yeah.
and the Switch can do anything.
If you ever played Sonic CD, you know that extraordinary things can happen if you believe in yourself.
It's true.
Only
So
so
the
the
Wii-
Japanese
the Wii-
version, though.
The Wii sold over 100 million units. Obviously, the Wii U did not get anywhere near that.
Obviously, the
No.
Wii U did not.
The Wii U did not. This one, who knows? 100 million. That's a big number. Even somebody like me who likes the Switch and wants to see it be successful, I think 100 million is probably a little bit outside the realm of
Well,
possibility.
Well, I mean,
there you go.
You have to say something like that if you're a senior Nintendo executive at this point.
Sure.
Because
I would have loved if he was just like brutally honest. Like, I think we'll be lucky to hit Super Nintendo numbers. With this.
I do think so. I do think that the
Got any
Switch,
games.
I do think the Switch is positioned for success.
Sure.
because it is something that will not be intimidating to people. It will be inviting to people. And I do think that it will be a success. And I think it's something that you will hear about and you will see about and people will be talking about it. Unlike the Wii U, which when it came out, you weren't hearing a lot of people talking about it, and you certainly wouldn't be seeing it. I think you literally will be seeing the Switch in the world. And I think it's going to be a success. I'm not saying 100 million. I'm not saying anything like that, but I do think that it will have a good initial, and it will land well and will sell pretty well at the start.
Well, the 3DS is at a little over 60 million now. So, yeah.
I mean, Nintendo fans are ready for this thing, other than Greg Seward. Nintendo fans are ready for this.
I'm ready for it too. When it has more than, when it has one game that I really want to buy the system for, I'll consider it more. But so, the only game I'm really interested in at launch is Zelda, and I can get Zelda on my Wii U.
That's true. It's not
a hatred thing.
I think
$500 thing.
They gotta. This system has to be appealing to more than just Wii U owners, or even Nintendo fans,
But there's a lot more people that didn't buy the Wii U that are Nintendo fans that have played Nintendo games over the last 15 to 20 years that all of a sudden will be able to pick this up.
I would argue that you're wrong there. I think that the people who bought the Wii U are the Nintendo fans, the ones that are left that like Nintendo enough to buy the hardware. It's the Wii numbers that are skewed because it was a bunch of people who weren't Nintendo fans who bought the Wii.
The numbers are between the two, but I mean, look, I have the NES Classic. I have had, I don't know, a dozen people come over and play it. None of them who I would call video game fans. The moment that they saw it and played it, they were like, "Oh my gosh, I love this! Oh my god, I can't believe they had this game! Oh, I've been wanting to. I forgot about this game." Like there is this huge market of untapped Nintendo fans. This is a very simple, easy way. This is the key. It's got to be easy and simple way for them to tap into that. That's not a 3DS, which is to a lot of people a bridge too far. Yeah. But it is something that they can literally pick it up, press a button, and they are having a Nintendo experience. There is a group of those people out there.
Yeah, but I think you're talking with the people who you'd have to be like sub $100 price for that. I mean, my brother is the same way. He saw the NES Classic and he loved it. And then, I mean, we played some Excite Bike because when we were kids, we played Excite Bike and we loved it. He's not going out to buy a Switch.
Well,
he's
not
a
at
gamer
launch
anymore. He's a Nintendo. No. But what I'm saying is that you get that reaction from people who are lapsed gamers. They're not gamers anymore, or they're not serious gamers anymore. They're not going to invest that kind of money into a console. This isn't me saying that the Switch is overpriced. This is me saying that these aren't people who are going to go out and buy a modern console. So, yeah, a lot of people can be impressed by the NES Classic, and they might go out and buy one because it's $60. That's nothing. But you're talking multiple hundreds of dollars. The NES Classic stirring nostalgia in people does not somehow translate to, if we can just capture that and bottle it, people will go out and buy a Switch. It's not the same thing. They're two different consumers.
Totally agreed.
Right.
And I'm not saying they're the same. What I am saying is that there are a lot of people who didn't even know about the Wii U, and when they did know about it, it was weird and confusing. There's nothing weird and confusing about the Switch. It's the Nintendo Switch. Yes. They will be advertising it. You will see it. It does have an appeal. That's
I agree with that.
Yeah,
I do agree with that. Yes. Yeah. I think it definitely is probably going to do better than the Wii U.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess.
I don't think the Wii U did even as well as the GameCube, right?
I don't remember. I don't know.
Yeah, I hope it does. I hope it does better. I hope it does really well for them because this is the way I want to play games. Honestly.
Well, and honestly, it is a modern way to play games. It really does let a whole bunch of different people play these games in a very different way. That is better than playing shovelware on your phone or your tablet, and not nearly as complex as getting a traditional console that you gotta take 15 updates for, and there's the Pro, and then there's the regular one, and do I want the deluxe edition or this or that? Those things are very confusing to a whole lot of people, and there's no confusion about this thing.
That's true. Well, speaking of confusion, there has been a little bit of confusion over the online service, especially people wondering what the app will offer. But I think we got a little bit of a hint because the producer for Splatoon 2 did an interview where he was describing the online app as allowing you basically to invite people into a lobby from social media. So you could post on Twitter that you're about to start a game. Does anybody want to join? And people could join you directly from Twitter by clicking on a link. That's pretty
something.
interesting.
That's great. I
That's
think that's
actually
great.
really interesting.
Because again, where am I in the house? What am I doing? You know what I mean? Wherever I am, I can very easily invite people in. I love that. And I think again,
using your phone, right? That's what we're
Using
talking
your
about.
phone. Using your
absolutely. Right.
Yeah.
So I think it's really smart.
That could be extremely interesting, and I expect if it works, and if it works well, we'll see Sony and Microsoft do the same thing.
Sure.
So
Can you? Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Well, you can already do it with Sony. Like the PlayStation app, you can do exactly the same thing.
Well, they do. Yeah, they do allow you to create events, which kind of lets you do that, but not through. You can't post a link to an online lobby in Overwatch on Twitter, for example.
Right. Yeah, that's the key thing there.
That's the key.
Otherwise, yeah, it's just doing what's been done for a
But
while.
what's great about that is you tap into your existing social media network, as opposed to what I don't have. I have hardly any Nintendo friends. I mean, I just it's
because there aren't any left.
Well, so without having to rebuild anything, just being able to tap into the people that you already know, I think that's another reason it's great.
Yeah. Well, another thing from Kimishima's interviews last week, he says the online service will be between 2,000 and 3,000 yen. That translates from like $17 to $26.
$800,000. Oh my gosh, what do they do? Oh,
let's just call it $20.
I assume that's monthly
for the online service. That's yearly. That's yearly.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah.
So about half of what you would pay for Xbox Live or PlayStation Plus.
Mm-hmm.
So
well, if they take your games away at the end of the month every month, it's probably worth about half.
Well, there you go.
Dun, dun, dun.
It also says that a 3DS successor is possible.
It's called the Switch.
They see
anything's possible.
They see the 3DS market as a different market, a different customer, beginning gamers. So, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
I take offense to that remark.
Exactly.
Beginning and senior gamers.
Much better.
That's right. In our twilight years.
Past prime. There you go.
I'm still waiting for that.
Prime gamers.
I really thought CJ's intro was going to be, and joining us because he's already seen the other 50 Super Bowls live.
Joining
never
us
do
to our
You have to be permanent fourth chair before I start making fun of you.
Yes, good point. Good point.
That's how that goes.
joining us as part of our senior citizen outreach program.
Yes, indeed. VR.
Rich is not that much older than we are, by the way.
We've been talking a little bit about VR from Nintendo for the Switch. And Kimishima says that they're studying the possibility, but only if Nintendo is able to resolve issues connected to discomfort using VR over multiple hours.
I feel like that's not a thing Nintendo's going to solve, but it is something that's getting solved. I think that Resident Evil 7 is a great example of another step forward. Because you've got a first-person free-roaming game that's not making everyone throw up after 5 minutes. So
there's no way Nintendo's doing anything VR-related with the Switch.
You don't think so?
Nope.
I feel like the fact that, I mean, I know we've had this conversation before, but I feel like the fact that you can do pretty decent VR using a phone.
Yeah.
It's not that far outside the realm of possibility.
Well,
and the nice thing about that would be is that the hardware that you would need to do it would be pretty cheap.
So here's my question. What would the game be? What Nintendo IP would work for VR?
Mario Kart.
Luigi's Mansion.
They've already got that's a good point there. They've already got so much that they need to do to put a library on the Switch to then add a Nintendo quality VR component to that. I think it is just not where they're going to allocate.
That's a fair point. But that being said, a lot of the issues for VR are being solved Like, you know,
Not,
we're in the
not
middle of
quickly.
No, not quickly, but what I'm saying is that we're in the middle of it right now, which is kind of one of the reasons why it's kind of exciting to have a headset of any kind, because you're seeing it happen. And again, using Resident Evil as an example, thinking back to I mentioned this last week, but one of the free roaming horror demos that was on the demo disc, which was only 5 or 6 months ago, unplayable. Right, it was really hard to stomach, and you come to Resident Evil 7, and they've clearly solved a lot of those problems. So those problems are getting solved. Yes, they're getting solved slowly. I'm not arguing that, but I'm saying that it's not Nintendo that has to solve those problems. There are tons of other companies right now solving them, and the thing is that we are going to get to a point where there's a lot of discovery left to happen in VR. Is all I'm getting at. And you look at the. There's another PlayStation game, I forget which one it is, but it's basically a platformer. You play it as a platformer, and you are the camera, right? It's something Nintendo could do, but you do make a really good point, which is, again, they've put themselves in this position where they're the primary provider of software for their consoles.
Yeah,
and it's going to be a struggle just to get enough software out there. That's absolutely true.
I think they'll go AR too because of the nature of their device. The Switch is built for AR, not VR, and they have already had a successful AR venture with Pokemon Go. So if they do anything in that venue, I think it'll be a very different thing than VR.
Except that the Switch doesn't have any cameras.
Oh, well then, yeah, never mind.
So that takes AR a little bit out. But you're right. I mean, they did some AR with the 3DS, and they've clearly explored that. It would be very interesting if they eventually did something with that. But the Switch seems to back away from that a little bit, at least for now. I mean, they do have that infrared sensor that can determine your hand shapes. So,
see, I feel like that's exactly the reason why this is not outside the realm. I don't think any of this is outside the realm of possibility, just because they have put every single bell and whistle they can think of in this thing,
except for cameras.
Yeah, but
right.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right. Well, speaking of the Switch, Hideo Kojima says that the Switch is a gamer's dream. That's a direct quote. Quote, gamer's dream.
What does that mean?
He was dreaming one night.
He was dreaming about the Switch.
I got nothing.
No, there's an interview with IGN from a recent RTX Sydney show in Australia, where he talked about he name checked transferring, where you can take the save data from the PS Vita over to the PS3 and back and forth.
So anything after that, you don't even have to take seriously.
That's right. He says, I believe Switch is an extension of that idea, the fact that you can play something at home and take it outside. This is the gamer's dream. The Switch is an evolution of that.
Replace gamer with Ethan Einhorn, and then he's right.
There you go.
But I mean, seriously, I agree. I mean, I am so excited about the Switch. I think it is going to be a wonderful device for me and for my family. And yeah, my son and I were big Nintendo fans, so obviously that plays into it. But we're big Nintendo fans because they have a bunch of great games, and for me, that's all that I'm looking for is great Nintendo experiences on this thing that will enable us to, like I said, play it upstairs in the office, downstairs in the family room, out and about on the go. I think they're really onto something with this thing.
I mean, I'm just saying, I would just say take somebody like Hideo Kojima saying that with a grain of salt. I mean, you're talking about a guy who, created transferring. Remember, this is also the guy that put a sunlight sensor in a Game Boy game.
That's true.
I mean, it's not that I'm not trying to sort of, I'm not trying to tear that down. I'm just saying very experimental. Not necessarily great ideas, but ideas,
Yes. And
created Raiden. Don't forget that.
Well, yeah, of course. If you can't get enough of Nintendo Switch, I would then encourage you to check out Game Explain did a Mario Odyssey trailer analysis. Their video is 1 hour and 23 minutes long.
God.
Where they analyze every frame of this trailer to a pretty crazy degree. And it's great stuff. I won't spoil any of it here.
Did they pick out some of the Sonic Adventure assets from the?
No, because I don't think there are any in there. Okay. But But yeah, check that out. And I'm excited for the Switch too. And I think launch.
Well, no, you should play the Switch first. They don't need to talk about the Switch 2 yet.
Right.
Really? No, you're not gonna. No one's going with me on that. All right. See, when I try to be Phil, it just sucks.
To me, the launch is all about Zelda.
When
and
I try to
then
be Phil.
it's all about a regular delivery of new games, which it seems like they're doing. And let's see what happens. Let's hope that Xenoblade 2 actually hits in 2017 and Mario Odyssey actually makes Christmas this year, because that stuff is important. Getting those games out is going to be
Mario is very important. I don't think there's a chance that it hits for the holiday, but boy, I hope it does, because if they don't have a new Mario game in 2017, that's going to really hurt.
Yeah,
it's going to really hurt.
I think you're right. And the fact that the YouTube video for that trailer has 11 million, 12 million views, like that is clearly, yeah.
They got a backup? Like, okay, we are delaying Mario, whatever it's called, but here is the remastered version of every new Super Mario Brothers game. Boom.
I don't think they can do it with remasters. It has to be new stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I would be excited to have some sort of deluxe Super Mario collection on the Switch. So, but again, I'm already buying one. So
that needs to be something that's done in tandem with a new Mario.
Yeah.
Oh, I agree. I'm just saying, like, I don't know whether you guys think the Mario game is hitting the holiday, but I don't. Just because it's
but
so
the
hard to build something like that.
There was a rumor that it was going to be done in time for launch.
Yeah, I actually believe that it will. I feel like that's one of the.
I think
that's one of the most sure things of this console, to be honest.
Yeah,
I hope so. Because
maybe they'll do Animal Crossing.
Really...
Animal Crossing for the Switch.
I would love that. I would play that.
Well, we did find out that Animal Crossing, the mobile version, which they announced last year, that Fire Emblem and Animal Crossing were going to be hitting before March, and we've only heard about Fire Emblem. They said last week that the Animal Crossing game is still in the works and it's delayed a little bit, so not got anything on that, but we do have Fire Emblem. Fire Emblem Heroes launched last week.
Is that the mobile game you're talking about?
That is the mobile game.
Because I get lost with all the names of all the different Fire Emblem games. I'm totally lost with them. I did download it.
Anybody playing this? I know Ethan already deleted it off of his phone, so
angrily too. Yeah, I downloaded it and
angrily.
A little bit of the preface, but that was it. All I did was just play it for a couple of minutes.
Yeah,
waiting to actually start playing the real version. And find out why Ethan hates it so much.
It's a mini Fire Emblem game, like with one-screen battles, and it's kind of a fun little diversion. And obviously, it's not going to replace the mainline Fire Emblems for anybody, really, but it's a nice little time waster, I would say.
I love Fire Emblem Awakening, so I'm excited to give this a shot.
Yeah, and it's a mobile RPG version of Fire Emblem. Like, that's exactly what it is. And you spend orbs to, maybe possibly get awesome heroes to fight with and train. And it's fun. It's a fun little time waster. I'm probably not going to be playing it for months on end, just because I really haven't gotten into any mobile RPGs much. I can't see myself getting into this one, but it is apparently number 7 on the top grossing charts in the US, which is pretty damn good for a JRPG. This soon after launch. So there you go. Are we into what you've been playing now? Can any of you actually hear me, or am I going robot again?
I hear you.
Yeah.
Greg?
Yeah, I hear you. I just have nothing to add to this conversation.
The only person who's gonna start throwing a fit about Fire Emblem Heroes isn't here.
It's Ethan.
Yeah.
And we already know he deleted it from his phone, so
I played
the internet knows he deleted it from his phone.
I played it. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah,
this is fine.
I didn't spend any money on it.
Yeah, I haven't either. I haven't felt any need to.
I won't be.
How much have you played? Phil, how much have you played?
I played through the prologue, which is fairly short, and I just played like
Right.
a mission or two of the main game.
Okay, so
But
that's pretty much what I've done.
But I see. It seems like, my enjoyment of the game is not dependent on getting like a 5-star Marth pull from the little random character orb.
So okay, I am interested to know this. So what is the random character thing? Like how does that affect the gameplay?
Well, you get
No clue.
that's how you get new characters. You start off with certain characters. You
Okay.
get a couple characters, and then at the start of the game, you're given, I think, maybe 10 orbs or something like that.
Okay.
And it, actually, if you have a My Nintendo account,
Mhm.
and if you link the game to your My Nintendo account, you can go to your My Nintendo page and actually redeem a prize to get 10 more orbs for free.
Yeah.
So if you go through that little extra step, you can get the orbs, and then it's the standard random pull. You don't know what character you're going to get, but they can be from anywhere from 3 stars to 5 stars in terms of
Okay.
strength or rarity, or I don't really know how
Well, it
they.
also has some bearing on how far you can level them up.
Oh, is
later.
that also okay?
If it's anything like the other mobile RPGs that I've played, then yes, it would do
Oh,
that.
okay.
But
Okay.
I
So,
suppose we'll see.
Yeah, so you just spend your orbs to pull random characters, and I am not familiar enough with the Fire Emblem history to know if every character has previously appeared in some game, but obviously there are some of the big name.
Most
Roy.
have. There's
Okay.
2 gotcha systems you can pull from, and one is like all legendary sort of characters from the series,
Okay.
and another is just a larger pool of everybody.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, of course, people are going to want the big name Marth
Sure.
and Roy characters, but
And they're much harder to get.
of course they're going to be
Yeah.
your rare 5-star characters. So, I ended up getting a couple 4-star characters, and then the rest were 3 stars,
Okay.
and that's fine. I'm fine with that.
I will say I love Fire Emblem Awakening and played a lot of it. I didn't finish it, but I know I got really far. But the opening music and the character descriptions, and then when the character starts telling you about all the different lands and places and what's happening, is completely ridiculous. I mean, just completely like the opening music is. Did you ever, I mean, wow, that was bad with like the guys singing in the background.
Oh, fun.
And yikes. And then when, again, at the beginning, when the character is telling you, oh, we're being invaded by the blah, blah, blahs from the land of Hiskafligging, and but we're trying to protect everybody from the Herfignorgans and stuff. I'm like, this is really.
The story
Finland?
is only
Wow.
there really to try to connect the various Fire Emblem games into one world, and it's definitely overly wordy. I'm glad you can skip all of that.
Yeah, and the game itself, like I love Fire Emblem because when you're actually playing the game, it's as good as any of those kind of games that I've ever played. But it'll be interesting to see how if there isn't a crossover appeal, because to someone who doesn't know anything about Fire Emblem, this is just a complete like, what am
sure.
I even doing? This is insane.
Right.
Yeah. Well,
They know who their audience is, I think, and it's just Fire Emblem fans. Let's do what you've been playing. What do you think about that?
Oh, I thought we
Okay.
already were.
Well, we
Love it.
kind of already are. We're in the middle of it, sort of. But let's start with Rich this week.
Cool. Well, I'll blitz through a few of these. First thing is a week or two ago.
Good word for tonight.
Week or two ago, I finished Titanfall 2
Yeah,
in no small part because of the tremendous recommendations that I got from this show. And then I picked it up on one of the holiday sales for like $30. And I'm not a first-person shooter fan, not really a fan of those kind of games at all, and I loved it. I didn't really like after about the first two and a half chapters. I'm like, well, this is just every generic corridor shooter I've ever seen. But somewhere around the third or the fourth level, it really becomes something special. And I was very, very, very impressed with the different ways that you get to play, with how they introduced new ways to play it, and it really powerfully impacted your experience of it. I really enjoyed being in the Titan. That was really cool. I really enjoyed the way that you had to navigate and figure stuff out. It's a really special game. So speaking as someone who does not play first-person shooters very much at all, and usually when I do, I'm reminded why I don't play first-person shooters, I had none of those feelings with this game. It's just fantastic. Everybody who listens to the show already knows it, but I just wanted to say that it is wonderful. And I only played the single-player campaign. I know it's a very friendly multiplayer experience for people like me who are not into multiplayer shooters, but I've already feel like I've got more than my money's worth from that single-player campaign. It's just fantastic.
Totally agree. It is
So
great.
that is Titanfall 2. Another thing I wanted to mention that I'm playing is the NES Classic.
Ooh.
Now, I have not gone all full Phil Theobald with mine. I have not hacked it yet.
Ah,
I am a little concerned about doing that, but I'm really, really enjoying everything about that experience. It is as good as a package as I expected it to be. In fact, it's probably a little bit better than I was expecting it to be. It's so bright and beautiful. It's so easy to navigate. The games on there are so good. It's a wonderful way to introduce Nintendo to people. My son, who I mentioned is a big Nintendo fan, has been really enjoying everything about it. And just as a family device, it's just a great way to spend a little time and hang out and play Nintendo games. So we're really enjoying that.
I need to. I think I've decided that
I
I
somehow
need to
can't hear you guys for some reason.
upgrade mine.
Oh,
you're gonna do it?
Yeah, I think so. I to be able to get every US game on there, there's no reason not to do that.
It's super easy to do. I tells you. Super easy to do.
I'm pretty tempted to do it as well.
Yeah.
I see people on Twitter more and more each day now, like doing that hack.
Yep.
Looks
It
like
works.
Rich is having some technical difficulty.
Ridiculous.
I think we're only going to get to do like 1 or 2 tweets because I'm going to have to edit the shit out of this show.
Oh boy.
How you doing, Rich?
Can you hear us? Can you hear me now?
I can't
No.
hear him.
Yeah, we completely lost him.
Yeah,
Oh,
he may be disconnecting.
oh boy.
Have you turned it on? Well, how about you move on to somebody else for now?
Okay.
Instead of stalling the show for another 10 minutes. Like,
Oh, you're right. You're right. All right, Greg, why don't you tell
not
us
me.
what you've
No,
been playing?
I finished a couple games this week. I finished Forza Horizon 3. A little bit of an anticlimactic finish because I didn't even realize I was about to finish it, and then suddenly it's like, oh, you've just unlocked the final showcase, and it's like, cool. And it was spoiler alert, it was racing a Zeppelin, which it wasn't a Zeppelin, it was a blimp, but it was a little bit not really that exciting. And I just thought it was kind of sad that that's sort of how the game ended. But that, having said that, there's a ton of events I haven't done yet, and a ton of stuff left to unlock. So I mean, I'm still going to be sort of picking away at that game just because I enjoy, just jumping in and playing it for an hour, just roaming around and finding a race, and doing all the little extra bits and pieces that you can do in that game. So. But yeah, like the final showcase was a little bit of a letdown. Like I'm trying to remember if it was Horizon 2 or the original Horizon, where the final event was sort of this big map-wide race where you literally just sort of started at one spot and you went right around the whole map, came back to the end, and that was really intense and really sort of like it was like a great victory lap for what the game was, right? Like it's like we're going to show off everything in the game one last time. Credits roll. And it just didn't really do that. It was a little bit kind of a downer. But still a great game. And like I said, still lots of stuff to do, so I'm going to be playing that again. Well, probably over the whole year, probably until the next Forza games comes out.
Probably have Blizzard Island or whatever.
Yeah, and I haven't grabbed that yet. I'm going to eventually, but I definitely want to, because I mean, I must have at least 50 or 60 events still on my map that I haven't even checked out yet.
Sure.
So the other game that I finished this week was Alone with You from Benjamin Rivers, which I talked about last week as well. Just want to reiterate, there's not really much more to say from what I said last week. It's a really nice little sort of it's basically a point and click adventure game. It's all story, but it's got a really nice sort of 16-bit aesthetic to it, which I know Benjamin has said that he actually said it was like a love letter to the Sega CD, which, you know, that works for me. So, and actually I posted a picture today. I'd found out earlier, somebody else had asked him this on Twitter before. But if you look at the picture, it's your quarters in the game where you end every day by going to sleep in your quarters. And on the shelf right above your bunk is a little Sega CD unit. It's kind of
nice.
Cool. So yeah, a really cool little game. Phil, I think I don't know if I said this to you last time or if you were here last time I was talking about it, but I really think you should play it.
Oh yeah?
I think you'd really enjoy it a lot.
Okay.
It's like I said, it's a very relaxing play. And I think you'd really appreciate sort of everything that it offers. So
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, definitely do it. Anybody should play it, but I really think that you would enjoy it.
Okay. Very nice.
And that's really all I spent my time on this week.
All right. Should we go back to Rich?
Sorry about that, guys.
Hi, Rich.
Hello.
Welcome.
Hey, Greg, real quick. Did you finish Life is Strange?
I did. Yeah, I finished that last year, the end of last year.
Did you talk about it on a show and I missed it? I mean, I know you talked about it on the show.
Yes, okay. Yeah, I think it was right around, might have been like the Christmas episode or something.
Love that game.
Oh, yeah, so good.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. A couple other quickies that I've been playing. My son and I are both playing Zelda: A Link Between Worlds, which
so good.
We are thoroughly enjoying, but man, that game gets frustrating. We don't know what to do sometimes. Between the two of us, we just kind of get lost in the world walking around and we're having a hard time. We're at the point now where we both collected a couple of paintings and we see the big X's on the map and we go to where the X's are and we can't get them. So we go to other X's on the map and we're not exactly Zelda veterans. This is really the most I've ever played any Zelda game. So with that said, we are both having a blast playing it, and we're both playing it because of the new Zelda coming out on the Switch. We wanted to sort of be in that mindset. So we're having a great time with it. But to, I guess, newcomers to the franchise, it can be a little tough to figure out what to do a little later on when you get through it, or maybe not later on, but where we are anyway. But I don't know if you guys have ever had that issue, or you always sort of.
I don't remember getting stuck with it. I don't remember getting with it.
I don't remember that. I think talk to people in town. They'll often tell you or give you some hints on where you should be going next. And of course, Link Between Worlds, a little bit of the appeal there is that you can kind of go anywhere, and it often gives you multiple X's to visit.
Right.
But you still, I've kind of found you probably still have to do them in an order.
Okay.
So, yeah.
You know what's ridiculous? When I was playing Link Between Worlds, I would occasionally get stuck, and usually what happened when I figured out my problem was I would forget that you could stick to the walls.
Yeah.
No, that's
which is like the main gimmick of that game.
But forget that you can use, or you can rent the equipment from Ravio, and you forget you have bombs already, or something.
Right. But like, here's an example. Right, we're both at this spot right now where there's a big X on the map in the second world that you travel to.
Yep.
And it's a dungeon that is, you enter and it's immediately a pool, and you can see that there's something below the water that you're supposed to be able to get to, but we both dive like 50 times, can't get there. So then we come back up and we go around the walls and can't get anywhere. And then there's, if you walk back out, there's this massive boulder with a crack in it that I'm sure you need to have your sword at a certain level to break through, but we can't get to figure out what it is. It's just one of those games where for us, we're just really enjoying it, but for whatever reason, but like you said, talk to the townspeople. That's probably the best thing that we do. Maybe we're just not where we should be at that point in time, or we're not leveled up to the level that we need to be. Something like that.
Could be. It's going to be interesting once Breath of the Wild comes out, because that is also supposedly a very open-ended game to the point where in interviews they say you can basically run right to the final boss from the beginning, and of course the chances that you'll be able to do anything are slim, but you could do that. So that's going to be real interesting if it gives you a push on where to go, or if it's truly open-ended, or if people are even going to like that. We'll see. But
I do love it when you finally actually do figure out how to get through the castle, or when you do finally rescue the prisoner from the thieves' den, or when you actually do finally get and accomplish those and get the extra heart or the new sword. Like, it's such a great feeling when you do that. It's awesome.
Totally.
So a couple other quickies. I have started playing Hitman.
Cool. I really need to play that.
Through a couple of friends of the show, Night Attack 09, who incidentally was the one who helped me procure the NES Classic, and that sports gamer TJ Lauerman. They've been harping on how great Hitman is for a while, and I saw it on a number of mainstream outlets, Game of the Year, not like your video game sites, but just like I think it was Time or Forbes had it on there. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to give it a shot, and it does a really great job of introducing you to the series, and also introducing you to all the different ways that you can accomplish your mission, even on the very early training missions. Before you really get into it, you can see all the different challenges that you can go through, all the different ways that you can win, all the different disguises that you can put on. So you go in knowing that there's a lot of different things that you can accomplish, and you can choose for it to direct you. You can say, look, I want to go down this path, and it'll give you waypoints and what to do. Or you can just choose to do it however you want to. It really is fascinating. It's a really brilliant tutorial in smart game design in a lot of ways, I think.
Awesome.
My issue with it is that as you get further and further into it, it gets nastier and a little unsettling. Now, obviously, the game is called Hitman. You're literally an assassin who has to kill people. So I get that. But some of the things, especially with some of the headlines in the world today, you just kind of go, or at least I do, I kind of go a little, or it's a little tough. But if you can sort of put that out of your mind, again, it just gives you so many different ways. And it's really fun. You just like I said earlier with the Link Between Worlds, it's fun. You feel smart when you figure out, I gotta knock out this security guard, and I gotta disguise this, and I gotta dump him in this closet over here so I can go over there and get this poison and go to the bar at the right time and poison the guy's drink, and then he'll take it, and then I'll follow him around. Like, it's really fascinating how you can do all of those things. And I bought the same thing with Titanfall 2. I bought it on a holiday sale, the entire first season. And it's really well paced too. Like, you can sit down and play it for 15 minutes and feel like you've really done something, or you can play it for an hour and a half. So it's really, it deserves all the accolades that it got. And then what I'm also playing as sort of a nice little opposite effect to that is I picked it up over the holidays. I finally opened it up, is Ratchet and Clank. Again, you guys have said how good it is. I'm a fan of the series from a long time, but did not get this when it came out. But it's really nice. So like right now I'm sort of playing half-hour Hitman and a half-hour Ratchet and Clank. It's a really nice sort of one-two punch. And man, Ratchet and Clank is just great. You guys were completely right about it. Such a great game. The beginning's a little slow, but once it gets going, it becomes classic Ratchet and Clank. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
So that's what I've been playing.
Awesome. Phil?
Yeah.
got for us?
Played a little more Yakuza 0. Don't have a whole lot to say just because I'm not that particularly far into it, but it continues to be awesome and just weird, which I love about the Yakuza series. So
course.
none of you guys are interested in playing this game, huh?
Oh, I'm very interested in playing it. I don't know when I'm going to get to it.
I'm
Okay.
interested as well for the same
Yeah.
reason.
Yeah, I'm
check it out.
interested too. My PS4 is unfortunately in a communal family area that I don't where I don't think I'd get to play it all that often. So I'm holding off for now.
I mean,
I
to
understand.
be frank, Phil, I'm really interested to see how much you like it moving forward. Because if you like it,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that I will like it, and if you don't, I'm pretty sure I won't. Because I think with these kind of games, you and I tend to have the same sort of feeling about them, and so I'm really interested. If you continue to enjoy it, I'm pretty sure I'll wind up picking it up.
I have a feeling that I'm going to, just because I've enjoyed all the other Yakuza games, and this one seems to be just a really kind of refined version of what's come before. So, yeah, really nice game. I also picked up a little retro piece that came out this past week, Double Dragon 4.
I'm really interested to hear about this because I've heard a lot of mixed reviews.
Mixed?
Yeah.
Who's giving it good reviews?
The definitive.
Did this thing just come out of nowhere?
They announced it a little while ago. I mean, the whole gimmick is that it's supposed to be taking inspiration from Double Dragon 2 on the NES.
Wasn't there already a Double Dragon 4?
There was a Super Double Dragon 4, yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. But this one has more of an NES aesthetic, which means the sprites, like the player sprites, look kind of NES, and the background graphics look nothing like what a NES could handle.
Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
it's one of those. It's it's 8-bit in the same way the Scott Pilgrim game was 8-bit looking.
Right.
Sure.
You know.
Sure.
But yeah, it boy, it's terrible. It's really bad.
So what's bad about it? What's
Well,
like, what?
well, it's just the actual
Everything.
kind of fighting in it is just very bland levels you're going through. Just not much to do. They try to introduce a little bit of platforming, which in a Double Dragon game is not a good idea. Jumping on rotating platforms and things like that.
No.
A lot of cheap deaths due to that sort of thing. I'm playing on the PS4. The sound effects when you punch and kick are just horrendous. I have no idea how anyone could have listened to those little mechanical screeches and thought, yeah, that's a suitable kick sound effect.
It reminds me of how my son reacted when he first played Donkey Kong Donkey Kong on the NES Classic. He's like, "That is the most annoying walking sound ever, Dad. What is that all about?"
Oh, come on.
Yep.
That little
Shut up, you're grounded.
that if that played every time you punched or kicked, that would be fantastic. No, it's like this kind of
Yikes.
like where did they get that sound file from? Screen tearing up the wazoo. I mean, this is
who made this?
what is it? The Arc?
Oh,
I believe. I think so.
Aren't they supposed to be really good? Isn't this the
Blue? This is their
Yeah, it was Arc System Works. You're right.
This is their Q team on it.
Yikes.
You cannot walk without the screen just starting to rip like crazy.
And for context, Arc System Works is the company that made like Guilty Gear
Yeah.
and Blaze Blue and like
that's right.
it's not like they've never.
No, they make good games.
Yeah. Actually, they developed the Sega Master System version of Double Dragon.
Did they really?
Apparently,
And that's the good one.
No idea.
That's
And
the
that
good
is-
one.
I wouldn't
That
go
is-
that far, but
Well, and just graphical glitches like crazy. Anytime you pick up a weapon, if when you throw the weapon again, there'll be like a frame or two of the weapon just appearing back on the ground as you throw it.
Wow.
So just really, I mean, it just looks unfinished. It sounds unfinished.
Maybe they thought that people liked the graphical glitches of the NES game, and they thought
The
people
NES
liked the
game-
screen flicker.
The NES game does not have this many graphical glitches, though.
I will
that's the
will
thing.
not stand for you denigrating the NES game. The NES game was great.
Oh, I like the NES game. I'm not denigrating it.
So
So I guess what we're learning here is that if you want a new-ish version of Double Dragon, is Double Dragon Neon still available? Because that game was awesome.
yeah, Double Dragon Neon was pretty great.
They should just
Double
bring that
Dragon.
to PS4
Double Dragon
They should.
4 is pretty awful.
or the Switch. They should bring it to the Switch.
Sure.
So yeah,
You have to play it multiplayer. It's at its best multiplayer.
It's not good.
It's too bad.
And I picked up Poochie and Yoshi's Woolly World for 3DS.
So did somebody in your.
somebody
yeah,
else.
so did someone else picked up part of it from my.
Yeah.
for
So
my
what
apartment
happened?
complex.
What happened, Phil?
Okay, so this game, I had ordered it from Amazon. It's supposed to be here Friday. It's I ordered the game and amiibo bundle.
Sure.
Which comes packaged. There's a cardboard outer box, and you open up the cardboard outer box, and the game is inside, and the amiibo is inside. I arrive home on Friday, my son and I, and he runs up the stairs and yells, "Oh, Dad!" And normally he will point out if there's a package waiting for me. He gets excited when there's a package, and then he gets very angry when he finds out that there's nothing for him. It's some game for Daddy.
Vicious cycle.
Yeah. But he runs upstairs and he's like, "Oh, Daddy, there's a game for you." And I'm thinking, well, that's odd. He usually just says there's a package. How does he know what's inside the package? And as I'm starting to walk up the stairs, he's running down holding the game box for Yoshi. And I'm what's going on? How did he somehow open the box and get the game out? That's doesn't seem like he would have the means or the time to do that.
Yeah, I
sort of
mean,
thing.
he had no time to get his pocket knife out.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. But we don't let him take his pocket knife to school. That has to stay at home.
That's some good parenting right there.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, I applaud you, sir.
yeah, they have zero tolerance policies these days. You don't want to mess with. But so I walk up the stairs with him, and there's no shipping box. And I'm just like, "Well, Finn, where did you get this from?" And he says, "Oh, it was right here." And he points to the front door. And like, "Yeah, but where was the game?" And he said, "Oh, it was just here. It was leaning against the door." So I'm thinking, well, that's weird. So I'm looking around, and and nowhere is the shipping box or the amiibo. It was just the shrink wrapped game. So clearly somebody decided to steal my package, but only steal part of the package, and leave the game delicately perched on my my doorstep. The following day, I'm sitting in my apartment, and there's a knock on my door, and a neighbor's there. She's holding a soaking wet Amazon shipment box and a soaking wet Yoshi's Woolly World box, and which she explains had been thrown into some bushes. So it's like, okay, so apparently someone took the box and opened it up and threw the box into the bushes. And then today I go out down in our parking garage, and the package that the amiibo was in was open and just thrown on the ground.
I loved that part.
Yeah. So I'm finding bits and pieces of it all over the place. I'm half expecting tomorrow to arrive home from work to find an unraveled yarn amiibo.
That's probably
Sitting on
best
my
case
front
scenario,
porch.
really. At
Yeah.
this point.
Yeah.
You'll wake up and the Poochie head will be next to you. And
Ah,
you'll be,
Exactly.
Right where I was going.
Yeah. Yeah. So I have no idea what I can only assume it was a kid who lives in our complex, because if it was like an actual thief, why not just take the box and leave with it? Why go through the hassle of actually opening the package, seeing
Well-
what was in there, and then taking specifically just the amiibo out while leaving the game,
Here's a question
Which is-
for you, Phil.
which is the most valuable part of the package? Yeah, go ahead.
How far from your house does Ethan Einhorn live?
I mean, it's a ways, but it's drivable, certainly.
You know, just putting it out there.
Okay.
Maybe you'll
Yeah.
think twice the next time you laugh at him for his Vita
Yeah.
shoving his Switch into his pocket.
I mean, he is known to go to, he is known to go to extremes sometimes to get what he wants.
That is true. This is very true. So, yeah, it's very, very odd. Luckily, Amazon is they're going to attempt to send me another one. We'll see what happens to that
Yeah,
one.
really.
huh.
I think I'm going to have to change my Switch shipping address, have it sent to my work, because I don't want to risk that
Probably
sitting out there
yeah.
now. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got an
So-
in-store pickup for not exactly that reason, but definitely that was one of the things going
Right.
through my head when I'm like, you know what, I'll
Yeah.
just drive the 10 minutes to the store to get that thing.
Yeah, exactly. So, very, very strange. But I do have the game. It's a good game.
All right.
Have you played the game
And
at
how's
all?
that?
No.
How's
Have you
that?
played it? You haven't played it? It's good. It's a good
I
game.
played
You
the
ever
Wii U version.
You played the Wii U version? Well, this is it
Yeah.
portable. It's
All
like
right.
it's
This
like a
is-
Switch experience.
This is
Big
Yoshi's World, Yoshi's Woolly World for the 3DS? Or is
Yoshi's
it
Woolly World for 3DS. Yes.
Oh, cool.
Yes.
didn't-
Some added stuff. There's some new little challenge levels where you are controlling Poochie himself, and they have a custom create a Yoshi mode. They have a little simple art editor where you can draw your own and color your own Yoshi designs, which you can then spread via Street Pass,
Yeah,
which is kind of cute.
Cool.
interesting.
So yeah, but it's a fun game. It's not quite Yoshi's Island, but then what is? But it's
True. Yoshi's Island.
it's a darn fine platformer, to be sure. So I'm having lots
Okay.
of fun. Having lots of fun playing through it again.
Nice.
So yeah, I just hope I get the amiibo someday.
There you go.
Yeesh.
And those amiibo
Yeah.
are different than the ones that came out with the Wii U game.
Oh well, it's a Poochie amiibo. It's not a Yoshi. It's a yarn Poochie.
Because I actually bought this for my son for his birthday, the
Yeah.
Wii U game, and the two amiibo that came out with that. One is, I think, pink and one is green.
There's a
Sounds
blue
like a-
one as well.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
But as the aforementioned Wii U, I literally can't load anything on it, and the only games that were on it were Mario Maker, both of the Mario proper games, and Mario Kart. We still haven't actually loaded it up to play it. So
Oh man.
got the game, but haven't tried it yet on the Wii U.
Wow.
It's good. It's real good.
Yes.
I have a feeling we will fix that. We will right that wrong at some point in the next few months.
Excellent.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, I played a little bit more Lego Dimensions. I'm in the Portal area of the game.
Oh, okay.
now.
Nice.
Yeah, and this week Amazon canceled my order of the Gremlins pack.
Oh, finally.
What?
Rude.
Yeah, they said, we're sorry it's taken so long. We're unable to get this item, so we're canceling your order. I ordered it back at Black Friday because it was like $12. So of course I'm gonna order it.
Yeah.
And apparently they can't find any more of them, even though I'm able to see them at any Walmart or Target, but for $24. So
That's
Yeah.
honestly why, even though I don't open them right away, with those any Dimensions packs that I want, I've just been kind of jumping on them day one,
Yeah.
just in case. It doesn't seem to have been a problem, but I just, where I enjoy the game so much, I just don't want to take that chance.
sure. Yeah.
Right.
But yeah,
Makes
that's
sense.
pretty effed up.
It's a pretty fun game though. Still enjoying it, although I really don't like having to interact with the portal at all. If I have to do anything with that, I usually tell Charlotte to go put this character on this side of the
Right.
portal instead of getting up and doing it myself.
Nice.
That's
Yeah,
why you had the kid.
That's why.
that's
Yep.
exactly right. Exactly right.
Yep.
I mean, I'm solving the puzzles in the game and doing the gameplay part. The least she could do is get up and put Daddy's Batman
Wow.
on the left side
The
of the portal.
least she could do.
Yeah.
Father of the year.
That's right. Yes. Fatherhood. All right. Should we do some tweets and then get out of here?
Dear
Yeah.
God, yes, because the Patriots have actually turned this into a game. So
Okay.
let's get this over with.
Let's do this one from hacker alias Jacob Norgren, who says, "What's your favorite football game of all time?"
It's a tie between Madden 12 on the Wii and Madden 13 on all consoles because those were the two I worked on.
Aw.
There you go.
And I really like Mutant League Football, which, by the way, the new version is nearing completion.
There's a Kickstarter for Mutant
Oh, really?
Football League. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It looks pretty cool. I'm
Nice.
gonna say NFL Blitz.
And the
'cause,
man in the back said, "Everyone attack it. We're talking about an NFL blitz."
Yeah, you played a lot of Blitz, didn't you?
I sure did. I learned everything I know about football from NFL Blitz.
Yeah.
There you go.
So,
This is
Yeah.
back when Midway was making amazing sports games.
yeah, they really
Word
did.
up.
That and NBA Jam and all that. Yeah,
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say FIFA.
Oh, man.
What?
Someone just got put on a list.
The answer is NFL Blitz, of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mine is Tecmo Super Bowl, and it's not even close.
I
There you
figured,
go.
I figured
All right.
somebody would say that.
Yeah, we had, my friends and I played multiple seasons, which it kept track of,
Mhm.
and had weekends where we would just play tournament after tournament after tournament. There have been amazing football games. The latest Madden is fantastic, but there's no football game that I have played that I was able to play with more people and have more fun with in one world than Tecmo Super Bowl.
It's funny. Like I love that description because that is exactly the same reason why Blades of Steel is my favorite hockey game ever.
Oh, what
Wow.
a
Because
game!
I
What a game!
played
Yes.
Blades of Steel with my brother endlessly when we were kids, and also exactly the same reason why I know that Mario Kart 64 is not the best Mario Kart game. Like Mario Kart 8 to me is the best one ever anyway, but my
Yeah.
favorite is still 64 because there was like a solid year where I
Mhm.
played MK64 tournaments every Sunday. When
Yeah.
I worked at a rental store and kids would come in and we would play Mario Kart 64 all day long. And it was just the greatest thing ever. And yes, like it's not the best Mario Kart game, but it's my favorite game by far.
And speaking of
Maybe.
Blades of Steel, I have a original NES, and Night Attack 09, friend of the show, Adam Burnett, sent me a copy of Blades of Steel. So now I have the original
Oh,
NES and a
nice.
real Blades of Steel, which is
That's
awesome.
awesome.
Maybe I'll bust out my NES Classic Edition and play some Blades of Steel and Tecmo Super Bowl a little
There you
later.
go.
Yeah, I
played
gotta.
Super Bowl. I have to play this.
Before I lost my my audio, I was going to say I haven't gone full Phil Theobald yet and hacked it. I kind of want to get a second one to hack to keep an original one, but boy, every time you talk about that, Phil, I'm just getting closer and closer. Being
I'm
like,
telling
you know what?
There's no
I gotta do
reason
that.
not to. There's
I
no-
know.
Yeah, you're not altering it badly enough to.
I know.
Easy. It's
I know.
reversible.
Still
You're
scared.
you're in no danger. You would be the first person in recorded history to brick an NES Classic.
If anyone
I'm
can
telling
do it,
you.
I can do it.
I'm
Trust me.
telling you. You know what? This show has painted me as some sort of elite hacker. But if there's anyone on this planet who's scared to death of doing stuff like that, I am certainly that guy. But
You
boy,
make
it's
a-
easy. It's
You
easy
make
to
a
do.
great argument. A
I
great
do.
argument.
I do.
All right, hacker alias Soundscape 419 says, "What does Nintendo have to worry about Sony and Microsoft's response to the Switch at E E3?"
A lot of finger pointing and giggling.
Sorry, but yeah, you're right.
I don't think I think Nintendo lives in their own world. They don't need to
Yep.
care about anybody other than Nintendo. If they get their act correct, if they put it together, then they'll be fine. Doesn't matter what anyone else does.
Also, I don't think Sony and Microsoft are going to have a response to the Switch at E3, nor should they. Really,
Yeah,
I
they
feel
need to.
like
Yeah.
they need to.
What can they do? Their strategy is basically to do powerful home consoles that you can't take with you.
Yeah.
I don't think either of them are interested in bringing that experience away from the television whatsoever.
Yeah.
At least not now. If the Switch concept ends up being successful, then maybe in like a year or 2 years, you might see something. But if the Switch concept is successful, I expect Sony and Microsoft to go all in on remote play or play anywhere, and really like hype those systems up.
And that's the thing. It's like both of them, like they chased what the Wii was doing,
Yeah,
and there was no point really. Like it, I mean, the
Well,
Kinect was
Microsoft did
apparently
okay
a
with
success. Yeah, apparently it was a success, but really, I don't think in the grand scheme of things, it gained them all that much. And I'm curious if it wasn't sort of understood at that point. It's like, you know what, we don't really need to chase what Nintendo's doing at this point, because you're right. They're on a different branch completely.
different path. Yeah,
I mean, really, all three of them are, right? I mean, Sony is looking to continue to build on its lead and become the, de facto leader of this generation. Microsoft is looking to make sure that they remain profitable so that they can continue to have the Xbox brand exist for the next 3 to 5 years. And Nintendo's looking just to be Nintendo, which again, as I said earlier, I think if they do what they need to do, there's more than enough profit for them to continue to do what they need to do.
yeah. We'll see. It's going to be an interesting E3, I think.
Yeah.
No matter what way you slice it, because I think Sony has to prove that PSVR is going to continue and they're going to devote resources to it. You have Microsoft where they're going to introduce Scorpio maybe, but we've already seen a lot of Xbox exclusives get canceled. They kind of have to come back and make that platform worth owning and worth buying a Scorpio for. And then you have Nintendo where it's like, okay, we'll be after the Switch launch, but you're going to want to see what's coming up for the second half of the year and some assurance that Mario is actually going to make holiday.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So it's going to be good. All right, I think that's it. I think that's where we stop.
Yeah.
Thank God this is over.
This ordeal. All righty, and that is our show for this week. Thank you very much for listening. If you have a question for us or would like to comment on something you heard, you can direct that to @P1Podcast on the Twitter, or you can go to our internet website at player1podcast.com. There you'll find our email addresses. You'll find blog entries about Sega CD stuff from Mr. Greg Seward. One was
I
posted
just went up
recently.
this past week. Yeah, that was that one took a long time, not because not for any good reason outside of the fact that I don't play those types of games. It's a god game called Power Monger, which was apparently well received, but not really the console port's not so great. So yeah, go check it out.
Okay, and Generation 16 episodes.
I have captured all the footage for the fourth game.
Oh,
On the episode, and I'm sort of I get not really the first draft of the write-up done, just all the bits and pieces that I'm going to build it with.
Okay, and you'll find a message board where you can discuss video games and episodes like this one with us and our other listeners.
If you'd like to subscribe to the Player One Podcast, you can do so by visiting player1podcast.com or by going to the iTunes Music Store. While you're at the iTunes Music Store, you can also invest $1.99.
Cheap.
Pick up the Player One Podcast iPhone application, gives you one-touch communication with us via the emails, the Twitters, what have you. We also have all of our episodes ready to stream right to your listening device. And hey, Android cell phone, telephone users, Player One Podcast iPhone application is available for your listening device as well for that same $1.99.
Also cheap.
You can find that right over there at the Amazon Android Marketplace. We're also on Stitcher Radio. You can like us on Facebook. You can watch archives of our show and watch us live most weeks, even on days of the big game. At the youtubes.com/P1 podcast. And if you've liked what you've heard, and how could you can head over to patreon.com/P1 podcast. Throw a few shekels our way. It helps keep CJ. I had something. I don't know. CJ's gonna misappropriate your funds, is what I.
Yep.
I guess that's the joke.
Not true at all. That's not true.
But look, as a
CJ shut down the judicial branch, and now he's just doing whatever he wants.
Yeah, exactly.
as a Patreon subscriber myself, there's nothing more I want than for CJ to misappropriate my funds. So I'm totally fine with that.
Ooh. I used to live with the guy, and he'll do it when you least expect it to.
It's like, I don't think that term means what you think it means.
And if you have a couple bucks left over, head over to generation-16.com where you'll find the Patreon link to help support Greg Stewart's fantastic show about the world's, minus Brazil, favorite runner-up, Sega Genesis.
Thanks, Phil.
Generation 16 is the name of that show.
Yes, thank you.
It's a great show. I love Generation 16.
It is great.
I love it too.
When there are episodes.
Yeah, they take a while.
I was shocked, just shocked at how much money you spent for that 30-second Super Bowl ad to promote Generation 16.
That was a bold move.
Well, you know, I'm at a little over what? I'm at 3,391 subscribers. I felt like that's going to push me over the 3,400 mark.
Mhm.
Yeah. This is the way to do it.
Yeah.
Reach that wide audience.
Yeah. Reaching for that rainbow.
Yeah. CJ,
Yeah.
thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Phil. It was great to be on this show with you this week, on this day of the big game.
It's pretty great to be on a show with me. I agree. Stewart,
Hi.
thank you.
Thank you, Phil.
Thank
Always
you.
a pleasure.
Yes, it is. And of course, extra special, super duper, knocked one out of the ballpark in the spirit of the big game. Thanks to our special guest, Mr. Rich Grisham. Thank you, Rich.
Thank you, you guys. This
We
is
love
my favorite show, and it is always so much fun to be on with you guys.
we
always.
love having you on.
We love having you here, Rich.
Where can people find you, Rich? You got anything you want to promote?
CJ, he's right there.
Yeah,
Where can people find you on the internet if they want to follow more from Rich Grisham?
I thought
That's
you were
what I'm saying.
confused.
No.
Well, I would like to say that I am representing Out of the Park Developments, and I'm not sure if you guys knew, but last year Metacritic actually awarded us the 2016 Game of the Year on PC for Out of the Park Baseball 17.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
I was
Wow.
I was not aware of that, and big congratulations.
That's
Thank you.
awesome.
I had absolutely nothing to do with it, but I'll take all the credit. So, when you're in marketing, that's what you do,
There
right?
you go. That's a marketing guy right there.
So,
Yeah.
but seriously, we are really excited about that, and a number of Player One listeners have bought the game and play it or are in the community. So, thank you. And we have recently announced the follow-up, Out of the Park Baseball 18. You can pre-order it now. You get 10% off. Go to ootpdevelopments.com and do that. That would be awesome. We also have Franchise Hockey Manager 3, which is the game that, as I mentioned a couple of times, Night Attack 09, Adam Burnett, he's the community manager for that game. That is also available. They're all available through Steam as well. Check them out. It's so great to be working with a video game company that makes really high quality games. It really makes it's a
your
lot
job
easier. You know, life is just easier as opposed doing that's not the case. So yeah, everyone check that out. And thank you guys. If you want to follow me personally, I'm on Twitter at Rich Grisham. That's kind of where I tweet about pretty much Out of the Park Baseball and Franchise Hockey Manager. But that's okay. That's what we do. So thank you.
Nice.
Cool.
That's it?
That's it.
Let's do it
That's
again
it.
next week.
Yes.
Next week? Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.